I help people remember who the fuck they are.
Do we live in a simulation?
Your whole reality is a hologram. It's a simulation and it's a projection of your programs that you're storing in your subconscious mind. If we're not consistently reprogramming our brain on a daily basis, then we're going to manifest unconsciously.
Can anyone manifest?
The question you want to ask is, can anyone manifest their desires? Because everyone's manifested their reality right now. You just might be manifesting shit. I'd say a good 90% of humanity are living 7 out of 10 relationships, careers, lives, finances, and health. Trying to get financial freedom without stepping into courage or uncertainty is like trying to bypass life.
So I'm a dentist.
I used to be an accountant.
I'm very excited. But wait, before I even introduce you, tell me, what were you doing just before coming in?
I was nervous peeing.
So what's like the protocol? What's the action steps if you're nervous? What do you do?
Honestly, before any speaking event, I literally have to pee like 3 or 4 times. I added and had as much personal development I do and inner work I do. I still, I don't know. I'm preparing my body. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm about to walk into a bit of courage.
Yeah.
That's what's happening, you know?
Is there like a trick or something that you have to get yourself grounded or back in control, or you just go for it? Like
Honestly,
you just jump?
like the first 25 workshops I reckon I ran, I would still experience that same anxiety. And the ego was just like, what if you forget your lines? What if you this? What if you that? And so it's not so much that I have a go-to hack or tool or trick, like gratitude rants help. Obviously doing the embodiment work helps. It's more just understanding that I've done it that many times and I didn't die. So for me, had that many experiences where I stepped into my courage, it was scary, I did the thing, and I didn't die. And in that realization, it just makes me more and more addicted to doing that. And I think when someone has their first experience of truly stepping into the unknown and into their courage and realizing that they didn't die, that's when life truly starts. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does. If you're new here, my name is Nelson and I'm the host of the Creative Grid podcast, a space committed to help creative entrepreneurs level up in every area of life. We normally have extraordinary guests as individuals, and today is no exception.
I thought you were going to say, and today is an exception.
Come on, I'm not rude. And today is definitely not an exception because today's guest is a legend. So I'm very keen for this conversation, and I guarantee you will get lots of value. So definitely have a notepad in there and get some notes. So today's guest, she's a manifestation and quantum business coach. Please welcome the incredible, the legend, Alex Tripod.
I'm so excited to be here, legend. Thank you.
No, thanks to you. Thanks to you. Honestly, is what I think I mentioned this in one of the episodes before, that the more you pursue something that you love, the more you start to become a magnet to attract the kind of people that are in the same wavelength. You know, like you reach out to be like, hey, we love to be there. And same like a few other guests that I've had in the podcast that just saw the podcast and what it was about. And then like, hey, love to be on the podcast. And I'm like, yeah, you're exactly the kind of person that I want to talk to. Yeah.
Totally.
Totally.
It's like that magnetic energy, right? But it's also like from a business perspective, having those horse blinkers on and not getting distracted by what your heart really wants to do. And knowing that like if you continue to be consistent and show up in that thing that you really love, like of course you're going to make quantum shifts and waves and the people are going to come. But most people are like trying and dabbling and going here and there and then wondering why 3 years passes and they haven't really made a huge change, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, like you need the persistency, you need the consistency, and something once you understand and accept that anything you want to pursue is all about repetition, and it will get boring at some stage. There is a lot of little things that are boring, and that's why a lot of people quit, because they're like, oh, now you see the shiny object kind of thing, a new opportunity or something, and then you get distracted, you get derailed, and then you forget, oh, what was I doing, you know? So having a plan, that's why also having purpose, mission is so important. So as soon as a distraction comes by, you're like, wait, is this helping where I want to go, where I want to get? Oh, no. Okay. So then you can kind of step away from it and continue in your road.
It's interesting because I've had clients in the past that have worked with me and they're like, I just want to become a really well-known speaker. I want to manifest an incredible big speaking gig. And it's interesting because I have to really call bullshit on the magic pill and say like, yes, cool, manifest a speaking gig, but by manifesting, part of that is actually creating your own stage. And what I mean by that is I ran like 5, 10, 15, 20 workshops before I got recognized by other people to then platform me to speak on big stages. And you know, it doesn't even necessarily mean that you have to spend money and do a workshop. It's called your phone. You can go live and create your own platform every single day. And that's the power of social media. But most people are lacking courage to actually put themselves in the limelight and create their own stage.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I like about your content, because I started dabbling a little bit. And then I was like, oh, okay, she does call the bullshit. Because a lot of people will come and just tell you like, if you think you can make it happen, you will. And
Kumbaya, meditate on your navel all day and you will get that Porsche.
Yeah. No. Like, please, don't sell bullshit to people. You know, like you have to put in the work, and it's gonna get hard. There will be obstacles. You need to be able to push through. You need resilience. I
think that's why The Secret was such a big misconception of manifestation. And The Secret, like, I know the intention was to help a lot of people, and there was a big missing piece around, yes, but your programming is actually what creates reality. And it's more than just closing your eyes and visualizing. And so people would watch The Secret, including myself 15, 20 years ago, and then not manifest and then call it woo-woo. Because we weren't actually looking at the keys that create quantum shifts in your reality. And it's not just closing your eyes and imagining. It's a bit more to that.
Yeah. Let's pull back, because people are like, but wait, I haven't heard of it. Like, we need to introduce you. We need a description and a bit of a brief for people that have never heard of you. And by the way, if you hear my voice is not correct or something, it's because I got sick last week and I haven't fully recovered my vocal cords.
He's getting upgrades. Upgrades.
But guess what? We have never bailed on a guest, and we're not gonna start doing it now. My voice didn't want to do this, but here we are for you people. So buckle up, because it's gonna be awesome. Alex, could you please explain people who you are and what you do and how you got to the place that you are right now?
Okay. I'm Alex Tripod. I'm a manifestation and business coach, and wow, like, okay, I've been doing this for 8 years. 8 years ago, my life reached a rock bottom, and I truly believe like rock bottoms can be such a powerful place because it makes you really reevaluate everything. For me, that was a heartbreak. And I realized in that moment that I was putting my entire self-worth on this one woman, whether she would love me or not. And I woke up the next morning, like, just feeling so hollow, so empty. And from that place, everything just shifted. And I'm not going to go into the full stories of all the synchronicities, but basically I landed on a book called The Law of Attraction, The Essential Collection by Abraham Hicks. Now, I believe that any book can change your life if you're ready, and I was ready. So I read and I implemented, and I read and I implemented, and I read and I implemented, and implemented all the stuff. And then it was just like, bang, 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 invested in myself. And so basically I, in a nutshell, help people remember who the fuck they are. And what I mean by that is help them like powerfully remember that they are an eternal soul. They're a multidimensional being that, they're so much more than just this meat suit and this limitation. And I do that by helping them raise their vibration and blending science with spirituality. So I take away a lot of the woo from manifestation, and I give them actual tools and they have them understand, oh, this is what's happening to my brain. This is what's happening to my cells on a vibrational level. Because when your mind understands what's happening, you're more likely to implement the tools consistently. When you implement the tools consistently, quantum physics tells us it takes 6 to 8 weeks for the metaphysical and the physical world to start blending, meaning your internal world is going to start showing up in the external, but most people don't do it long enough or consistent enough to ever believe that or see evidence. So that's what I do basically in a nutshell.
For someone that has never heard about quantum physics,
Yes.
what is this?
Oh my God. Okay. So quantum physics, where do we start? I would start with saying that I'm going to explain it from my perspective in that I believe that, well, I know that we have our own personal energetic frequency. And so what this means is that our energy and how fast and light our subatomic particles are vibrating will literally determine the frequency or the reality that we vibrate in. And where else do I want to go with this? God, like there's so many things. I think the best way I can explain it is this. And when I heard this, it like really like made sense for me and it blew my mind. So if we look at our hands, right, we can see like, cool, I am made up of cells, which are made up of atoms, which are made up of subatomic particles. Now, what are subatomic particles? Energy. Now, when we look at an atom is actually made up of, mind-blowing, 99.999999996% empty space. To context that for you, if we were to put 7.8 billion people that exist around the planet right now, what we think is real, what we believe is matter, solid, we would all fit into one tiny sugar cube. So your whole reality is a hologram. It's a simulation and it's a projection of your programs that you're storing in your subconscious mind.
That is freaking incredible explanation. Good job.
But I love it because I'm like, well, what's real? Like, what is real? Nothing exists without my observation of it. Like, and this is like, some people might be like, well, that's really triggering if I'm creating the reality that I currently don't like. And I'm like, that's awesome because that's just coming from your programming and you can actually shift your programming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it kind of also diagnosed the problem. You know, that is not things around you.
Right.
It comes from you.
Right.
You are the problem.
Yes. Yeah.
And in that sense, the powerful thing about knowing that you are the problem, guess what?
You're the solution.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God, I love this. You mentioned that you help people raise their vibration. What does that mean?
Okay, so vibration, we're living in a sea of subatomic particles. Nothing is still, everything's moving, right? So this microphone is like, it's not really real, it's vibrating. You're vibrating, I'm vibrating. And so what this means from a scientific perspective is, again, when we look at how fast our subatomic particles are vibrating, the lighter and faster our subatomic particles vibrate, the more light our cells hold. Now, why do we want our cells to hold more light? It's because we have more access to information. So when we raise our vibration, it actually means we're in an expanded energy, which is where they call the flow state. You've got magnetic energy because your energy doesn't stop where your skin stops with your physical eyes. It goes out and out and out and out and out. And this is when you're in the flow state because you've raised your vibration and you're all of a sudden having those magical synchronicities where you're attracting the right people, circumstances, situations, conversations, and events to action on to create your dreams. When you've got when you're vibing low, right, all this means is you're in a contracted energy. So lower vibrations like shame, guilt, fear, apathy. You've probably stepped into a room before, and I know I have, and you can kind of be like, I don't know about you, but I've been repulsed by someone's energy before. And I'm like, oh, it's dance. Oh, I don't know what's making me want to like move away.
You're too much. Get up.
All it means is that they're in contracted energy. Their subatomic particles are vibrating low and they're more dense. On the flip side, I've also walked into a room and been like, whoa, that person's got presence. I need to speak to that person. All that means is that person is in expanded energy. And if anyone wants to look at what this looks like, if you Google the consciousness funnel, you'll see all the different levels of the frequencies. And you can be vibrating at different levels in different areas of your life. For example, you might be vibrating in love around relationships. You're really good at manifesting love, but you're vibrating in fear around finances and money. Does that make sense?
Yes. So you can lack on different areas, right?
Yeah, depending on your programming. So you might have grown up and seen mummy and daddy fight about money. So your programming about money is quite dense because you've got programs that are not in alignment with creating financial freedom, but maybe mummy and daddy are still in love and they're best friends and they're still together. So you've got great programming around love and relationships. Yeah?
Yeah, makes sense. Before I forget, this is tied with something that you mentioned before. Alex, do we live in a simulation?
We absolutely do.
I love the certainty.
We absolutely do. So the way I see it is this. You've got 3D, 4D, 5D. Okay? 3D is duality. Up and down, right? 5D is what all the spiritual teachers talk about, and it's a reality that we're creating from the inside out. The more we de-armor our shields from our hearts, the more we do the internal work, the more we're creating a new earth from the inside out. We're not hopping to a new earth. We're creating it from the inside out, where love is a dominant vibration, where we're more connected, right? And so the way I see it is 3D is like your Super Mario and you're the character in the game and you don't have awareness. You're like, I'm in a pothole again, right? Life is happening to me. Yeah. I'm a victim. Yeah. I like to blame things outside of myself. I have no awareness that I'm the creator. Then you go into 4D and you're like, oh, I'm holding the remote control of the character in the simulation. So you've got a bit more awareness in 4D. And then 5D is like, I'm not the character. I'm not the player holding the remote control, controlling the character. I am the entire programmer of the simulation, right?
Like, you just blew my mind. That metaphor was so damn good. That's so good. Yeah. What a great way of explaining it. So most people are trapped in being in 3D then, according to what you're explaining. Why is that?
Well, I mean, the copy-paste answer that I would always say is because we come down to planet Earth and we have amnesia and we forget who we really are to play the human experience in the game. Because if we remembered who we really are, which is a badass multidimensional being, an eternal soul that never dies, how boring would this human experience be, right? Oh, I remember who I am. Boop, back to source energy. Oh, I'm back here. Boop, boop, back to source energy. So, like, part of the human experience is to experience duality. I don't know enough to say that, like, I don't actually know if every soul chose to awaken in this lifetime. Does that make sense? So a lot of people have come down to have the human experience and not necessarily choose to take the journey to remembering who they are. And that's why they say plugged into the 3D matrix. And let's be honest, it's also because we're bombarded and conditioned everywhere we go with not enough fear programming. I mean, turn off your TV for fuck's sake. Like, you don't have to walk very far.
Your phone, because the TV, who the fuck watches TV?
Keep your phone on, keep your phone on, keep your phone on. Keep watching this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd say that it's like that because there's more things to uphold the matrix and to keep us programmed in fear. And when we're in fear, it actually contracts our DNA. And when our DNA is contracted, we're in cortisol and we don't have access to light and information. We're not vibing high, which means we're not in our sovereignty and we continue to plug into the system.
Do you think anyone can escape the matrix?
Absolutely.
How? If someone just listened to this and they're starting to realize, like, holy shit, I'm trapped in here. I can see it now clearly. You're speaking to me, Alex. How can I escape? How can they escape?
Well, here's the thing, right? How is it that when COVID was going down, so many people were so in the, oh my God, Armageddon's going to happen. This is so bad. I can't travel. I can't do it. Yet there was other people that was traveling, that were living their life. Were they not escaping the matrix? So you escape the matrix by raising your vibration. And when you raise your consciousness or vibration to a certain level, it's not that you're not part of the same earth, is that it's kind of like you're seeing it from a bird's eye perspective and you're not in it because you can kind of see the BS that's happening. Is this making sense?
Yes, it
So
does.
for me, like during COVID, I was traveling around Australia and I was having the best time ever. Meanwhile, I was living in Melbourne had just introduced a 5-kilometer radius lockdown. So as soon as they put that in, I'm like, fuck that. I'm out of here. Found a way. Why? Would old Alex 8 years ago been able to do that? No. She'd be like, oh, I'm stuck here. Can't even go visit my friend that lives 15 kilometers down the road. Better adhere to these rules. Yeah.
Bullshit. Damn, Melbourne had it bad.
Oh,
hey.
so bad.
Yeah, poor people.
Most livable city in the world. No.
So, okay, manifestation.
Yes.
Can anyone manifest?
It's a great question. Everyone is manifesting. The question you want to ask is, can anyone manifest their desires? Because everyone's manifested their reality right now. You just might be manifesting shit. So everyone is manifesting through their observation. You're manifesting your money right now unconsciously or consciously. So it's like, can anyone be a powerful manifester and manifest like a freaking boss, like a rock star? Yes, but you have to do the work on your programming. Because if we look at like the iceberg, what we're using 5% of the time is the conscious part of our brain. 95 or arguably 96% of the time, we're manifesting from our unconscious automatic programs. So if we're not doing the internal work, if we're not consistently reprogramming our brain on a daily basis, 8 years in, daily basis, multiple times a day, then we're going to manifest unconsciously. And financial freedom and soulmate love and success is going to be a pipeline dream.
Yeah, okay. Are you a millionaire?
That's a good question. I have just landed in my first 7-figure year. So would I say I'm a millionaire? Does that make me a millionaire if I'm just over $1 million? I guess so.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's
Do
okay.
I have multiple $1 million in my bank account yet? No.
Yeah, cool. But that's awesome. How did it feel?
I love that you just straight up asked that.
Yeah, because and also because maybe someone is listening to
Yeah.
this and then they're like, okay, but who's
Right.
she?
Does
Tell
she
me
have
this.
the-
You know?
does she have-
or
right.
someone that is maybe a lawyer or an engineer trapped in a job that maybe don't love,
Right.
but it makes them money.
Right.
Like, but I make 100-something K a year,
Totally.
whatever.
Yeah.
You know, just to put that into perspective, like, hey, you know, this is completely outside
Totally.
everything you think is possible.
Here's
yeah.
the thing, right? I shifted into my first 100K cash month within 2.5 years of my business, but sustaining that wasn't easy. So everyone assumed from like 4 years ago that I was a 7-figure coach, and people would introduce me as like, introducing the 7-figure manifestation coach. And what am I going to do when I get on stage? Actually, guys, I'm high multi 6 figures, but I'm not 7-figure yet. Anyway, let me introduce. Like, so
Just to let you know.
I just said nothing. So
Yeah.
I love that you've asked that, because I also want to clarify with my audience, like, I've literally just shifted into it. The biggest thing for me is like, it always comes down to, and it's going to sound really fluffy, but you become rich in your mind far before you become rich in your bank account. Meaning you have to become an energetic or vibrational millionaire and truly believe it and know it and feel it to be true before it starts translating in your outer world, where most people want the money first, want the success first before they feel abundant. And that's the biggest test. right? If our internal world is creating our external world, you cannot be bathing yourselves in scarcity and fear and expecting to create financial freedom. It just does not work with like that on a quantum physics perspective. It cannot happen scientifically. Yeah.
What's the difference between someone making 6 figures to someone making 7?
Oh, that is such a good question. Okay, so old Alex 2 years ago versus this Alex. What's the difference? I don't think it's strategy. I definitely don't think it's strategy. I think it's a state of being. I think it's belief systems around money. And it's just playing at a higher level, asking for more. And then like also surrounding yourself with examples that quantum shifts are actually possible and not thinking that it has to happen logically. Yeah. I haven't fully key pinpointed it yet. But again, it's just if I look at my last year and this year, it was an exponential growth in my self-belief again and the courage to be just even more unapologetic in my mission and just choose it.
How many mentors have you had in order to get to where you are?
Well, I've spent over $500,000 on myself in personal development.
Over the course of
7 years. And that's not in Facebook ads or anything like that, just purely mentors. So I'd say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to say 8 or 9 mentors. And they're usually been a year long. So at the moment I've got 3. I usually have 2 or 3 at once, specializing in different areas. Yeah.
If you have to nail down the best type of mentors that you could get in order to acquire financial freedom, because I think that's, for example, my personal goal, and I think a lot of people listening to this, they want financial freedom as well. So if you have to boil it down, like, okay, if you have to get 3 coaches, what would they be?
Yeah, look, don't get me wrong. I'm only
coaches or
I've
mentors,
only got 3 coaches now because I'm financially abundant and I can and I want that support. And I want to context that because I went through about a period of 6 months of not having any mentors because I was plugged into someone that I was giving my power away to unconsciously, and unplugging out of that and realizing, oh my gosh, it felt so good to not be plugged into any guru. And I had a like 200K launch literally 8 weeks after unplugging because I fully came back into my own power and my own knowing of what works. So the best kind of mentor, I mean, as corny as it sounds, is their only job is to have you remember that you are your own guru and to equip you with the right tools so you start fully shifting into your own personal power. Like every single one of my private clients towards the end of our container, they don't even fucking need me. And it's so cool. That's because awesome. I'm like, let me look at your landing pages. Let me do this for you. Let me do that. Do you want help with this? Nah, I'm good. And the way they up level and speak and copyright and do shit. And I'm like, yes, because they've been consistent in applying the exact same tools that I did. So of course they're going to get there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the way I see it, because I also coach people as well in the filmmaking side of things. So if someone needs you for such a long period of time, are you doing a great job? You know, that's why I always question when I'm teaching something. Like, have you got it? Because we need to move and we need to jump to the next subject kind of thing. And then get you to a point where I can't really give you anything else because I've given you everything I saw or I think you need. You might need someone else to kind of jump with a different perspective as well.
Yeah, different wisdom, approach. Different codes.
Yeah.
I think that...
Different codes.
Different codes, right? Because you're not really paying for your words. Your words is just a placeholder for your energies to transmit into their cells. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Okay. I love that. The codes.
I always say before every live event, I'm like, and I take the pressure off me and I'm like, look, I'm going to teach you some cool shit. And
Yeah.
please know that my words are simply a placeholder for my codes to transmit into your being.
Yes.
So whether you sit here and you don't even understand what I'm saying and it sounds Japanese to you, please know that you're being coded and upgraded regardless. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, no, that doesn't mean you don't listen, but also, yeah.
Hey fam, Nelson from the future here. I hope you're enjoying that episode with Alex Tripod. It's by far one of my favorite episodes till date. Unfortunately, I regret to inform you that our audio SD card corrupted itself after we shot this episode, and we were so excited to record with Alex that we completely forgot to run our backups. And usually everything goes well, but that one day that you're not running backups, things go to shit, and that's what happened. So we try to recover the audio from one of our cameras, and it's not great. We did our best work in post-production to get it to a decent level where you can listen still to the episode. So I hope you do finish listening to it, because there's so much value that she provided on the second part of the podcast. I'm sure it will be worth your time listening to it. Keep enjoying the episode. Good vibes to everyone.
So I actually feel like when you said that potentially it's the fact that they've vibed out and no longer become a soulmate client match. Because if they're needing to work with you for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, it's almost like they've turned from a bullseye client to maybe not so much of a perfect match anymore. And the second thing I'm going to share is like this mentor that I was talking about. I think she continued to sell me and upgrade me. I was like, oh my God, I need more. I'm not enough. I need more. The next program, 50K, 100K. Yes, more. Take my money.
Yeah.
Like a one-way street between my bank account and her bank account.
Wow.
And it was for 3 years. And I realized that it was, no longer in alignment because I was giving away my power. So, I mean, I think it can get a little bit codependent sometimes when it's long-term.
Yeah, okay. That makes sort of sense. Who were you before you became a manifestation and quantum coach?
A very sad person.
Take us to that. I want to get to know that Alex. Who were you? Describe everything. Explain
snorting cocaine lines, getting drunk, thinking about how hot she was going to look and how many girls she was going to pick up at the nightclubs, and having benders every weekend. I was still happy. I still had good energy. I was still very happy. It's just a very lost soul. I had no purpose, no self-belief. That was literally me. I was in a 9-to-5 job working as a graphic designer at Scoopon.
Oh, yeah, right.
And I even got to a point, I think, at 27 years old, I realized, I can't do this lesbian drama. I want to turn myself straight. And I got a one-way ticket to Greece to try and turn myself straight. Right.
So what was the plan to do that?
It kind of worked, but not really. I brought home a guy who my parents loved.
Yeah.
That lasted 6 weeks until I realized, oh God, I'm really a lesbian. But that was me. So a lot of people look at me now and oh my God, it's easy for you. You have ridiculous self-beliefs. So many people come up to me and they're like, your self-belief is ridiculous. And I do. I have deluded self-belief. I call it deluded because it's delusional. Yes. Because I have to believe in the invisible to bring it to the visible, yes. Right? And believing in the metaphysical laws of the universe. And, a lot of people be like, and I always say this, maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. It's definitely not Maybelline, and I'm definitely not born with it. Yeah. It's consistency, it's devotion, it's discipline, and it's structure. And anytime I have discipline, consistency, devotion, and structure in my morning routine, and I raise my vibration for the first 2 hours of every single morning, my results in my business, my financial reality are exponential. They're incredible. Yeah.
What's your morning routine? Take notes right now. She's about to unload all the codes for the morning routine.
Okay, so it's pretty hectic at the moment, but I have a stripped down version for it too. I wake up 5:45.
So you're team 5 a.m. as well.
I have a black coffee. I still have coffee for the spiritual people out there that are going to message me and tell me to stop drinking coffee. Fuck off. So wake
Get
up,
that coffee, girl,
wake up,
get that coffee.
black coffee, move your body. There's something about moving your body that shifts your subatomic particles, it shifts your energy. And I don't only like to move my body, but I like to push my body. So I either go for a run with incredible music, or I'll do like a HIIT training. And it doesn't have to be long, but something that physically pushes me, right? Like this morning, I was doing a HIIT training and it was so painful that I was literally screaming in the hotel room. I was like, pain is weakness, leave me in the body. I can, I will, I must. The reason that that's so important is because anything I do after that 10-minute HIIT exercise is piss easy. Any video thing, quantum coaching, client calls, this, that, piss easy in comparison to that. Same reason why people have cold showers. So straight after that, I'll have a cold shower. Then I'll do 20 minutes, like 2-3 minutes, whatever, just wash my body. I used to do ice baths, but I don't have that in the hotel room somewhere. Then I go into reading out my magical script. We'll get into whatever you want. Reading out my magical script, reading out my self-concept, reading out my quality questions, reading out my gratitudes, going into 20 minutes of transcendental meditation, and then creating a grid.
How long does it take?
Yep, 5:45. Ooh, I'm gonna say all up probably 2 hours if I'm not fucking around. But because I don't really take client calls until 11, sometimes I fuck around and that takes me 3.5 hours to do. But that feels so abundant for me. So I might like be in the middle of something. I'll be like, oh, I'm going to write a post. And it's channeled through. So I like having a lot of spaciousness in the morning. It's not like regimented. I have to race this and fit it in 45 minutes. And if anyone's listening to this and be like, well, that's easy for you now that you've got time freedom. I started doing this whilst I quit my job without one paying client. I took out a $20,000 loan. I invested about $40K myself, and I still had a month of my, leave. You know when you give notice? My 1 month notice.
Yeah.
So I quit my job without one paying client, and I had to fit in a 2-hour morning routine before I got ready for work and drove in peak hour traffic from Blackrock to Mulgrave, which was a 45-minute commute every morning, and to get there by 8:30. So when my clients say, oh, but I don't have time, I'm like, you make time because it's a priority. Now, because I loathed myself and I was at a rock bottom, I was willing to do whatever it took to change my identity. And at the end of the day, these tools are so powerful because they're shifting us at a state of being. They're shifting our identity, our brain, our energy, what we believe and think about ourselves and our capabilities and our abilities. And that energy is magnetic because when you believe in yourself, this is what every successful person is, why they're magnetic, because they have delusional self-belief.
Yeah, and anyone that has accomplished anything great has some degree of delusion and obsession and just craziness about what they do on their craft, which is beautiful. When you get to meet a master at anything, you know, the other day I was in Byron Bay and I saw these 2 kids playing music and they were a magnet for everyone around them. Everyone needed to stop and stay. And it was just beautiful seeing greatness play out in the middle of the street, you know. It's the same way when I see someone or I get in the flow and someone sees like how I piece a video together kind of thing, or you being on stage probably or something like that. There's something so special about watching greatness, mastery play out in front of you that makes it also seem like how has it come so easy to them, you know, but in reality it's been so many years of hard work.
But people hear the word mastery and they're like, oh, because repetition, like you said earlier, is key to mastery.
Yes, exactly.
And like so many people will be like, oh, how'd you get such a good speaker? And I'm like, because I drowned myself in learning about quantum physics, manifestation, law of vibration, read the books, I listened to the YouTubes, I invested in myself, and then it's all mixed up in my subconscious mind, which is why I'm able to give value and spit out 20 TikToks a day and sit in front of a video. And it's a mastery because Alex in her first year of business was shit scared. I used to have like notes every Facebook Live I do, like pin it underneath the video and shit scared, you know. Only really now am I coming to a place where I can be asked to speak and do a TED talk tomorrow and I'll be fine. Or speak on stage in front of 1,000 people tomorrow and I'm confident. But it's taken years, you know, so it's the reality of it.
Timing is important as well. Anyone that wants to start getting into it, like start manifesting things and start to make the quantum leap, what are practical things that they could do in order to start getting to that place?
I mean, so many. I'm gonna probably share my two favorite things that changed my life. So, as we know, beliefs create reality. So it's like, what do we want our subconscious mind to believe? And when we look at how beliefs are formed, a belief is just a chronic thought we keep thinking over and over and over and over again, right? So there's something called neural growth factor in our brain, and it's the call it, like, think of it as brain glue, and it's the thing that has has the circuits fire and wire together and seal a circuit. So in order to create a new belief, and this is something that I did 7-8 years ago, my coach goes to me, so what's the biggest gap between you right now never making a sale in your coaching business and you being a successful coach? And I'm like, well, I don't know how to sell. I don't know the first thing about sales. He's like, right, so what's the disempowering belief? I'm like, I'm a fucking shit salesperson. He's like, right, so what's the opposite of that? I'm like, I'm the best salesperson in the world. He's like, great, get down, push-ups for 2 minutes straight, screaming that shit out. So I'm living at home at the time with mum and dad, and I'm in the office, and I'm like, I'm the best salesperson in the world. I'm the best salesperson in the world. And they're like, oh my God, my child joined a cult, right? But within 3 months, I'd shifted into my first 10K week as a coach, and I literally fell in love with sales from someone that was like, oh, I can't cold call, I can't get on the phone. So the first thing I'd say is to rewire your beliefs. List out a couple of disempowering beliefs that you have about financial freedom, about yourself, whatever it is. If you're a content creator and you have a belief that I don't know how to create content or my content isn't valuable, what's the opposite of that? I'm a content creating machine. Everyone froths my content because it's so valuable, right? And screaming that out, belting that out on a daily basis, where you'll be 60 days from now will be astronomically different. That's the first one. The second one is, I'm going to say hands down, meditation. Meditation is changed my life, more specifically transcendental meditation. It's like a silent meditation. You concentrate on a mantra, and it's the first time I started feeling like tranquility, inner peace. I wasn't consumed in the chitter chatter and the monkey brain of my fucking ego. And through months of doing that, even though some meditations I felt like, this isn't working, what am I even doing? Through months of doing that, I was actually able to hear the downloads from my soul, the whispers, and they become clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer. And when you're weeding enough shit out of your subconscious mind and you're hearing the downloads, you're actually more likely to execute on them, because people receive downloads all day long, but our heads are so full of crap and fear and shit that we haven't worked through that fear wins. And then that idea dies, and then we never make progress because we don't have the courage to actually take that action. So meditation, belief rewire. Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah.
Going back to the morning routine, what are the magical scripts? Is that how it goes?
Yeah, magical script.
Yeah.
So you're magically scripting out. Now, I'm not a journaler. I don't like journaling. It's you write it out once. I update my magical script maybe once every month or so because it manifests so fast. Now, I was doing this 8 years ago, not even realizing what I was doing, and it was manifesting so fast. I was like, oh my God, what's happening? So you literally script out in present tense, best case scenario of what unfolded in your life. So it's like, for me, I like to do like 3 to 6 months in advance because it's quite soon and it's exciting. I can connect to it. I don't really like to do 10-year vision. I'm like, no, I'm going to be in 10 years, right? So I'll be like, for example, I'm launching my Australian tour workshop tomorrow. So I will script maybe 2 months from now and talk about like how every event space filled out and the tickets sold like hotcakes, and I'm talking to rooms full of hot and ready clients that are ready to buy and frothing to work with me, and touring was so incredible. My relationship is amazing, and I'm now shifted into the body of my dreams, and my content is amazing, and every day I'm just creating amazing reels. And you write it out once. I do it on my laptop and I export it to the notes section of my phone. So that means anywhere I go, I'll go for a walk down the beach, I do whatever, I'm in the car, I'm on the way home from the gym, I can read my magical script. I used to print it out, but I can read it wherever I am. And it's something that you want to read out. It takes anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes to read out. And you want to make it really emotive, and you want to speak it with conviction, because when you're doing that, you're saturating your subconscious mind consistently with that experience. And your subconscious mind is your secret secretary. It will do and obey whatever the conscious mind feeds it on a consistent basis. This, hands down, has been my number one manifestation tool, magical scripting.
The magical
Yeah.
scripting. Okay.
If you pair that up with listening to emotional music or emotive music in your headphones while you're reading it out too, poof, because you're engaging your heart. And your heart is the largest electromagnetic energy generator in the entire body. So all of a sudden you're using emotional frequency with thought frequency while reprogramming you, while you're feeling elated, while you're using word frequency. Words, abracadabra, comes from the Hebrew saying, we create what we speak. And you're combining all these elements of what's manifesting your reality, which means you're piercing the quantum field with your potent words every day.
This is bloody awesome. Okay, I'm gonna listen to that.
Magical script. Magical script.
I'm gonna write mine down.
Yeah.
I heard you talked about a life 7 out of 10. A life that is a 7 out of 10. Would you explain that to people?
Yes.
That's fascinating.
So 7 out of 10, like what do you think about 7 out of 10? It's like average, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, it's not 10 out of 10. It's not extraordinary. And so I was living a 7 out of 10 life. 7 out of 10 finances, 7 out of 10 job, career, 7 out of 10 relationship, 7 out of 10 everything. And 7 out of 10 is a very dangerous place to live in, because there's not enough pain to ever have the leverage to take action to change your life, right? So this is why I always say, like, when there's more pain in your life, or Abraham Hicks calls it contrast, painful contrast happens, it's great, because that births a rocket of desire that you actually want something different. But I'd say, I'm going to ballpark a percentage here, I'd say a good 90% of humanity are living 7 out of 10 relationships, careers, lives, finances, and health. And not until they get diabetes do they look at their health. Not until they become broke do they want to create financial freedom. Not until they go through a heartbreak do they then want to work on their own self-love and self-worth. Why are we waiting to reach rock bottom and to have excruciating pain before we change our lives? And this is why I'm so passionate about what I do, because I want to equip people so they become proactive. You proactively, consciously manifest a new reality, not unconsciously fall to lower realms before you've hit the maggots behind the dirt rock bottom and then go, oh, but also I want to invest in myself, but also I can't because I have no money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Does it, by the way, do you know the name of that? Because you explained it, I'm like, oh, she's talking about the region beta paradox.
Oh, no, I don't.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, look it up. It's basically that. Because for me, I could never explain. A lot of people, so I'm a dentist.
Yeah.
I started dentistry, all this stuff, and then I quit all of that to pursue making videos and being a visual storyteller and a content creator and all this stuff. But people will always ask me, like, oh, but do you miss dentistry? Weren't you happy about it? Yeah. And I couldn't find a way to explain it. Yeah, it's not that I was unhappy, but it's not great. You know, it's not like what I feel now and what my
It didn't light you up.
Yes,
Babe, I used to be an accountant.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I got my bachelor degree.
No disrespect to accountants,
I went to Monash University like a good little girl. I got my finance and accounting degree. I did the right thing. $50,000 on my HECS, and that's where again it's like the conditioning of what responsible investing is. Where people think $50K to invest in your own mindset and your own stuff. Whoa, it's crazy. Yeah. But $50,000 to a government education system, something that I used for 2 years until I realized I'd rather stick needles in my eyes before I'd rather sit as a corporate accountant ever again, and I quit my job. Oh, that's responsible.
Yeah.
It's like crazy, the conditioning, right?
Yeah.
So I love that you're a dentist. I was an accountant. Here we are.
Yeah.
Like, because this is what's lighting our souls on fire. This is richness. It's not just the money in our bank account. It's the richness in like waking up every day feeling spontaneously inspired to create things. Like, you've probably got a million different ideas and things like, you know, you're probably like me, you wish you had a clone.
It's freaking out.
You can delegate the other Nelson to do stuff.
Yeah, it'll be perfect. I'll leave him here, doing all the editing, then I can go through those stuff.
Imagine the amount of reels you could create.
Yeah, and that's the power of building a team,
right,
as well, because
right.
you can, in a way, there will never be exact clones.
This is where you call to action to your business, mate.
Yeah.
Work with him.
If you need video services, that's
yes.
great. But yeah, I'm curious to hear about your process with content creation. I've seen you're big on being consistent with content and other stuff, which I've noticed that a lot of business coaches and coaches in general, mentors, are lacking. Like they want to position themselves as experts in their field, but then their social media, which is what we use to communicate and engage, and is your presentation letter to everyone, doesn't reflect that.
Yeah.
Yours is very different to most people. So what are the processes that you have currently for content creation? How does that look like? I'm super curious.
You know, it's really funny. Last year, my coach, he's like, get onto TikTok, they're going to love you. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to learn another platform. No, just get onto it, straight, go. So I created like my first 2, 3, 4, 10, 15, and nothing was happening. Like 1 view, 10 views. And then it just started growing. Oh my God. And I've now got 165,000 followers on TikTok, but I blew up within, I think it was like 8 weeks. I went to 100K followers, which was insane. And I had an obsession for it was like a game. So I just chose to be in the game. I was like, you know what? I'm going to use this as a challenge. And the rule was the algorithms loved me more if I spat out 4 reels per day. She was just like, 4 reels per day. I promised myself that there's no other choice. There's no other choice. It was like, I didn't care if I was sick. 4 reels a day, right? And so that grew my TikTok exponentially. And then what was really interesting is that you don't actually know which one's going to go off. You don't know which one's going to pop off. Like some of my most viral videos are just like what I think is terrible. But I'm like, okay, the people like this. And then I went through like mad upgrades. What I mean by upgrades is like I was wiped on my ass energetically. And I was like, I don't want to create anything in December and January. Like, I mean, like my goals were dead to me. Like I was like, oh my God, what is happening? And so all I had energy for was to download all my reels from TikTok and repurpose them and post them on Instagram and Facebook. And then my Facebook following went from 3,333 people to 60,000 people in 2 months because a couple of them popped off and went viral again. So to tell you that I'm got the magic solution to content creation is an absolute lie. I feel like I've been a little bit lucky. What I am going to say about content creation is it's the aliveness and your conviction and passion behind your message and not being afraid to speak about it like a broken record. So many people trying to reinvent the wheel, say like 3 hacks to do this, 3 ways to raise your vibration, 1 thing that I did to do this. Like they just try and capture them in the first 3 seconds because unfortunately humans have less of a attention span than goldfish, unfortunately. And if you got the hook right and you got the call to action right, just keep banging on about the one thing that you are passionate about and wait for one to pop off. That's it. Yeah. Bring the energy. Yeah.
Consistent.
And don't wait for you to look pretty and perfect and have the perfect background. The amount of videos that I've done while I'm in the middle of run and I stop and take my headphones off. I just came with this middle down like, oh, and I'm like sweating and I don't care. And it goes viral. Why? Energy. People are like, this bitch is mad. I like it. I need to follow her. Right? Courage, energy. That's why people follow you. Not for perfect and polished is great, mixed with good energy.
Yes.
But if you've got shitty energy and you're constantly following this strategy, you might get there eventually.
And energy is a big one because it instantly separates you from anyone that is just simply reading a script and not even trying to put their personality in it. So energy, I think, is a big one for...
Raise your vibration.
Yes.
Raise your vibration. Raise your vibration. That's all you got to do in life. Just raise your vibration and you will win and be unplugged out of the 3D matrix. That's all you got to do. Just raise your vibration and find something that you're passionate about and stick to it.
Stick to it.
Stick to it.
That's probably the biggest thing in there. Like, because a lot of people find it, but then they don't stick to it long enough. They're like, oh, of course this doesn't
Didn't
work.
make me $1 million in the first 12 months. Must be not my purpose. Must not be my purpose.
Of course I was wrong. It's like, buddy, it takes time. I mean, like, when I tell people, like, and it's funny because a lot of people are almost conditioned as if things don't work out exactly as you want them quick, they're like, oh, you failed or it doesn't work. I have someone that not long ago, like I met her when I first got to Australia, like a few months later, and I told her I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm gonna have financial freedom. I'm gonna inspire people that just like me, that come from third world countries or whatever. They think they can't do anything great. I'm gonna show them. I'm gonna be a role model that they can. That anything is possible. That you just have to believe in yourself, work hard, have this, all this stuff. I tell all that, and then I run into her like, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years later, right? And she's like, "Are you a millionaire? Yeah, you told me this." And for a second, I stopped, and I'm like, "Oh, good. I'm still on the track.
Nice.
I haven't quit. You know, like I'm still believing the same thing. I know it's gonna happen. It's timing, whatever." But it was just that moment of realization. Like a lot of people would have quit. I tell a lot of people, like, you wouldn't have been able to do everything I've done, because everything I've done to got to the place that I'm at is far from where I want to get. That's been so fucking difficult, and I've questioned myself so many times, and I've doubted, you know, like I've like, should I quit, should I not? And I hate quitters. It's the one thing I hate in the world is quitters, you know, so I can't be one, but I have been in that place where you question everything you're doing.
But if you're playing in the arena, it's normal to want to quit. Like the amount of times that I'm like, fuck this, I'm out here. Like I do believe it's normal, especially when you've got a big mission and you want to change the world and you're crazy to believe that you can. And, you know, life is going to give you tests. You're in the testing ground. Are you going to sit back on the bleachers, or are you going to realize that actually the magic is when you're in the arena?
Yes.
And I think what you shared before is you actually made a decision. And I love the power of making a decision, because when you make a decision, that's when it all changed for me. You're literally incisioning off, you're cutting off your old identity and all the bullshit reasons of why you couldn't be X, Y, Z and change the world and create financial freedom. You're saying, I decide, and because I decide, I'm going to do whatever it takes and get uncomfortable and take the action and become that person to create this. And then through making that decision, you continuously took courageous action, where most people are waiting for clarity before they take action. I want the clarity. I want the courage. Courage and clarity comes with you taking the action. Action precedes clarity, right? It's not like courage is going to tap you on the shoulder and be like, hey, mate, we're ready to do that big scary thing. It doesn't work like that. The amount of times that my programs have changed and things have shifted, like, you know, so many coaches are looking for, what's my thing? What's my program? What's my $1 million idea? Just launch your first one, and then you can improve it, or you can change it. Like, build trust in the marketplace, create content. You're not stuck and married to that one thing, right?
Yes. And iteration, you know, like, no idea. That was something that I got from the book of one of the co-founders of Netflix, how, like, once he starts explaining everything of how Netflix came to be, like, it all started from trying to be a shampoo. Like, that was one of the first ideas they had. And, you know, through iteration and back and forth and whatever, suddenly it led to what Netflix is. But what the biggest lesson I got from that book is, like, you know, ideas are never perfect at the beginning. Like, they need to evolve. They need trial and error. They need testing. That's the biggest thing as well. A lot of people are not even creating content because they're like, once it gets perfect, once I know exactly what I need to be doing, then I will do it. Or once the videos look great, it's like, mate, it never does. You always want to improve something else, and if you think your videos are perfect, there's something wrong with you. Because like, how can you think that you're at the highest level? You're already losing. If you think you're at the highest level and there's no more improvement for you, you're losing at whatever you're doing. You have to keep what we call the white belt mentality. I do martial arts, so it's just keeping that white belt and not thinking like, oh, I'm a black belt, there's nothing I have to learn. No, like always being willing to improve and expand and get new knowledge and new tools.
Yeah.
Your rock bottom.
Yeah.
How bad was it? Describe it to me. What happened? I'm curious now. Who broke you? What happened? Who was this person?
I know, right? Rock bottom was coming. You know, it was kind of like, how many rock bottoms did I need to have? But this was like the final rock bottom, and for me, it was just excruciating heartbreak. Where I went to my girlfriend's house and. We had a big fight and she kicked me out of her apartment and I'm like begging her outside of her door, like pleading and begging to let me back in. Yeah, like an actual no dignity, no pride, no self-respect. Like, please, and she was like, I can't do this anymore, Alex. It's done. We're over. And in that moment, I literally felt the excruciating pain of anxiety of like, what does my life feel like? It's so empty if this person doesn't love me. And it was like feeling of that void of like the mad inner child wounds and stuff that I probably never had felt in my life. And it was just so excruciating. And I was like, I actually remember being on fetal position outside her apartment, like crying, like just crying and holding myself. Wow. And eventually I went home, and that's when the next day I woke up and I messaged my friend and I'm like, you know, like, what's the point of life? What is this? She's like, babe, you need to read this book, The Law of Attraction. I was like, oh, I've done all that kind of stuff before. And then this book, wow, like when I say my life took a trajectory, I mean, in 1 month, I went from fetal position on the floor to quitting my job without one paying client, investing in about $40,000 worth of mentors, masterminds, coaching qualifications and meditations, and literally implementing what I call my bulletproof free programming system and spending 2 to 3 hours every morning creating a new identity. And within, I'd say, a good 60 days, it's like someone had cut open my skull, taken out my old brain and put in a whole new one. And this was like Alex version 2.0, the next Tony Robbins in a female body. That's it. I was. That's who I literally thought I was. You know, oh my God. Nice. You know, that's why I believe anyone can change their life if they have access to the right tools and they implement it consistently. But you gotta want it badly. You cannot be at 7 out of 10, and you cannot be so conditioned and plugged into the matrix, because there's always going to be an excuse of why this stuff is woo-woo and it doesn't work. Yeah. You gotta be hungry for it. Like, life depends on it kind of hunger. Yeah. Yeah, and when you decide, like the word decision comes from killing every other option. So once you make a decision, it's done. You gotta burn the boats. I think there's something about like also putting yourself in that dangerous position where you burn all your boats, and now you're all in. Yeah. You gotta make it work. You know, and in most cases, you know, people always have, you know, you'll always have some sort of safety net, especially in countries like this, like where it is like giving a plan to get money from the government, which still to this day blows my mind that people in here have that option. Yeah. But you know, like you gotta, like you said, you gotta want it with everything you've got, and you gotta be willing to do whatever it takes. There's always a price to pay. Depending on what you want, the price will change, but there's always a price to pay. What's the best advice you've ever received? Oh my gosh, I've never been asked this question. I'm not being the first. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Seriously. My mentor, when the amount of times I'm like, oh no, is this going to work? I'm in a financial pickle. Why is this happening again? Alex, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. So yeah, and it was like, just keep going, just keep doing what you're doing, just keep trusting and surrendering, just being courageous, just keep taking action, just keep showing up. And I did, and it's worked out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And breaking it down to something as simple as that, you know, like I even, when I'm in a position where, you know, things are difficult and I'm not in my highest energy or things are just not working out, whatever, I always try to reframe everything to go, because also when you look at everything maybe you need to get done or whatever, you're like, fuck, it seems impossible right now. But then if you boil it down to, wait, can I give one more step? Yeah, I can. And then you give that step.
Yeah.
And then you ask your question again. Wait, can I give one more step? And I continue to do it, and suddenly you look up and you're like, holy shit, I made it to what I wanted to get.
My analogy on that is like when we look at, you've got life and you know, let's say there's the bleachers, which is you're looking at people in the arena and judging them, and you're like the troll spitting your venom on people that are actually doing stuff. Then you got people in the arena, right? Like actually being courageous and following their dreams. And then you got the vision, which is like, yay, fuck yeah, I made it, which is, there's no such thing, you never make it, just because your vision continues to evolve. Now, sometimes you're in the tree of life, or the forest of life, where all the tests are, and you're in the arena and it gets really hard, and you're going to have moments that you just want to go sit down back in the bleachers, right? But when you're back in the bleachers and you give yourself 24 hours, 48 hours, maybe even a few days or a week, I promise you, if it's really your thing and it's your soul's mission and you're in alignment with it and it's truly your purpose, there's going to be something inside of you that's going to say, I'm not done yet. I've got more to give. You just needed a little break. You're human, just needed a little break.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not done yet.
I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
With fists clenched.
I'm not done yet.
You need a bit of fire.
Yeah, you do. What's the worst advice you've ever received?
Oh my God, these questions. The worst advice I ever received. No, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
Come on, there has to be a bad advice. Leave someone.
It's not so much advice, it's more, I had mentorship where it was putting all of my power into galactic beings outside of me. So it was like, or it wasn't so much advice, it was like something I was told, that the ascension journey is hard. And I was going through a really tumultuous ascension, meaning like my evolution, my growth was really clunky, and there was some part of me that was like, there's something not quite right about this, like wallowing in my misery and pain, and I'm just upgrading and I'm in fetal position and I'm like dying, and business is hard and my relationship is hard, and my mentor just kept on telling me, you're just going through upgrades, you're just ascending. Instead of being like, hey, you've got inner child wounds, you need to do embodiment work, you need to do mindset tools. Just sit there and wallow in your shit and the upgrades will pass. Like, worst advice ever. Because, and again, I gave my power away. I forgot what was good for me. I forgot that, yay, I was in the galactic realm. What about mindset? What about embodiment? What about cultivating safety with my nervous system? What about getting the fuck up and going to the gym and moving your body? And I stopped all that for a few months, and I lost myself, and it was a really hard time in my business. Yeah,
because every other area of life as well starts.
Oh my God, it just rippled into it.
Yes.
It just oozed into it.
It's like a sickness. Yeah.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
It was cancer spreading into my life.
Yeah. Now, what happened? You mentioned in December, January, you had like a very difficult time. What happened?
It wasn't difficult. It was more that basically I'm going to sound woo-woo here. I was going through upgrades. So I've got a whole galactic team. They're called the Lyrian Tribe of Elders. They're like, think of them like a lion energy, right? And Andromedans, anyway. And I have an incredible galactic coach. And at the time, I didn't know what was happening. I just thought I was burnt out. I was like, I'm burnt out. I don't know. I can't connect to my goals. I have a big vision and mission to raise the vibration of humanity. Why do I feel dead to my goals? Like, I didn't want to call in more clients. I didn't want to show up. Like I said, the only energy I had was to repurpose reels. And then come New Year's Day, people are like talking about New Year's goals. I'm like, ooh, people talking about goals, like, and basically what was happening was I was getting, how can I say, in lack of a better explanation, energetically was getting a full upgrade from my team to go next level in my visibility and the people that I was going to reach for the next year. So it was interesting because I had to just trust and do nothing. And my coach, when she looked into my field, she was like, Alex, I've never seen upgrades like this in my life. Like your field, like you're just, it's just like full coded. And I was like, and I literally felt like, she's like, you're literally mentally and emotionally disabled right now. So stop trying to magically script your life. Stop trying to do your morning routine. Stop trying to create goals. Stop it. Just stop it. And I'm like, okay. So I stopped for like a good 6 weeks for the first time in 7 years, which felt so foreign. But I'm so grateful I did, because come the end of January, start of February, like, holy shit. And it is literally been Alex 10.0 since then. I've nonstop. It is. And it's so natural. It's not manufactured. So I'm like, thank you that I had and also thank you that I was banked enough to be able to be like, I don't have to worry about money. I can literally take the whole year off and I'm fine. So I'm like, oh, how clever that they're doing this now, because I don't have to be worried about my next paying client. I can literally sit and receive and chill for a bit. So
wouldn't some people just say like, you just need a rest? Because some people might be listening to this, right?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, wait, you just described it like, you just need a rest. You need to chill.
And I probably would have thought that if I didn't have an incredible coach that could see into like what was going into, and again, that's her perspective. But when she said, you know, when someone shares something with you and it just resonates. Like when she told me that I have like Illyrian Tribe of Elders, and I went to YouTube and I looked up who they were and I started listening to light language and activation from them, my entire being, I started crying. I'm like, oh my God, it's my family from another planet. So I just knew, and when she said you're getting mad upgrades, I just knew that was true for me.
Yeah.
Whether it was, it didn't make sense for me to be depleted, because I really hadn't done that much to deplete myself. I was used to doing so much more, so it didn't make sense. I was like, why am I depleted? I'm used to being on fire and it's go time. And she's like, because they're preparing you, because 2023 is going to be a ripper.
Okay, let's get on to it. Yeah, that's awesome. Creative entrepreneurs, people listening to this, what are the best 3 practical, if possible, pieces of advice you could give them in order to get financial freedom? People searching for financial freedom, they're trying the hardest to get there. What are the best 3 pieces of advice you could give?
Oh, okay. So I truly believe that wealth and financial freedom is a direct correlation and result of how much we are stepping into courage. So trying to get financial freedom without stepping into courage or uncertainty or taking that risk is like trying to bypass life. There is no magic pill or e-commerce store or affiliate marketing thing or get rich quick scheme or crypto that's gonna fucking make you rich. It just doesn't exist. Okay? So I have to say that the 3 things, you've got to go internal. Like you've got to go internal. So the 3 biggest advice pieces, it would be looking at what your belief systems are around financial freedom. Yeah. So like, what are specific beliefs that you have around money? Do you believe that you have to trade time for money? Do you believe that you are capped for money? Do you believe that you have to work hard for money? Do you believe that financial freedom is a pipeline dream? Like, what do you actually believe about money? That's the first thing. And then like, look at how do I rewire this and saturate my subconscious mind with new programs. The second thing is, corny as it's going to go back to my other piece of advice. Weed out all the chitter chatter and the junk by like consistent meditation, because through consistent meditation, guess what? You are the $1 million idea. The $1 million idea is actually your core frequency and your unique energy, but we've just got so much crap in our heads that we can't actually hear the truth. So the meditation is going to quieten down the mind enough for us to start listening to the truth instead of searching out there for the solution, because the solution is inside. Third piece of advice, just take some huge action. Like take the risk, take the action, say yes to that thing, say yes to that workshop, go do that $2,000 course, try that e-commerce store, go. You're never going to have a guarantee in a certain, but I guarantee you're going to learn something from that. You're going to apply to something else. I've invested in so many things that are like, well, that was not great, but I've loved every single part because it's made me learn. So just go for it. If you're feeling a yes, and then your ego is telling you no, again, this is where meditation is going to help. So weed out the crap, rewire your belief systems, and take big, bold, courageous action, or at least just one big, bold, courageous action. It doesn't even have to be consistent. Do one crazy action step today. Yeah.
Yes.
Get the ball rolling, right? Get the momentum happening.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
If you take a little action step, you'll take a little bit of momentum. If you take a big one, that's the all-in energy, right? Quit the job. I took out a loan. I invested in a coach. Boom.
Yeah.
You got big balls, man. Shit.
Yeah. And big risk, big reward.
Right.
You know, there's nothing more true than that. If you want to accomplish great things that are scary, you need to make bold moves as well. Yeah. So Alex, we're gonna have to have you for a round two. This is awesome. I have so many questions still, but the time is up already. So where can people find you, connect with you, get to know you, listen to your stuff? Where can they find you?
Just, I guess, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Alex Tripod. It's easy. Come into my world. I've got heaps of free manifestation stuff. I've got a 21-day free manifestation challenge with little 3-minute tools that you can implement every single day. So much free stuff. Come into my world and let me demystify and unwoo-woo the world of the metaphysical.
Nice. Love this. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't to the YouTube channel. The biggest thing you could do, the biggest extra amount you could give to support the podcast to make sure that we continue to build this space for you guys is to leave an Apple review. That helps get the podcast to more people. So that will be amazing if you take 1 minute to do that. I'm on every social platform at Nelphalife and at The Creative Grid as well. We'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye, Sergio.
Woo!
How's that?
So good! Yeah. I started sweating now. Oh my God, we're getting hot here.
That was awesome. I knew. I'll tell you, yesterday, my throat wasn't still back and still not back, and I'm like,
I wouldn't have been upset. I wouldn't have been upset.
No, but I hate that. And I hate also because when you run into people, sometimes I've been punished by not taking opportunity enough in the past to be this is a great opportunity to connect with someone like-minded and all this stuff. So I'm like, let's just do it. Why not?
Yeah, because it's and it's different when you're sick, but I don't feel like it. It's if I just listen to I don't feel like it, I'm not in that. It doesn't feel aligned. I don't feel energetically the best. If I didn't do things that I didn't feel like it, and again, you were legit not feeling well. But it's I would never do. Every morning you think I would push myself into that pain where I'm like, pain is just living. It's not in alignment with my soul. Well, you know what? Fuck. Yes, it is.
Yeah, no, they're completely. There's no very rarely. I told people because they say oh, and how do you do this? I'm like, man, I have this.
It's a mindset thing as well, right?
Yeah.
I'm a man of my word. I said I was coaching, I'm going to do it, even though I'm feeling a little bit under the weather.
Yeah. And I think that's how it has to be. You can't.
It's that step you're talking about.
Yeah.
This little step.
Yeah, and you can't let feelings dictate what you do. I never feel like going, like waking up at 5. I never feel like working, you know, whatever.
I feel like sleeping in,
yes,
watching Netflix, eating Singapore noodles and dumplings,
yes,
and a bag of Cheetos with an almond magnum, and then maybe fucking giving myself 3 orgasms, and then going to bed real late. And watching Love is Blind on Netflix. That's what I feel like doing. Now, I'm not saying never do those things, right? Like, never going to watch Netflix, never going to eat a bag of Cheetos. But like, what am I doing 90 fucking 5% of the time?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Totally. Like you have to have discipline, and I love that you're big on that as well, because I can tell discipline has got you the freedom that you have right now.
Yeah,
so,
discipline creates freedom.
yeah, exactly. Jocko Willink.
Thanks for having me, man.
Before I forget.